Hi, I'm Julia Bryan Canavan. I'm a speech therapist and facilitate a Zoom tap group, which we call Zoom into the Bible. I'm originally from Durham, as you can hear from my Southern accent, and I love this area. It's quite different than when I grew up in Durham. We used to have to drive to Raleigh or Chapel Hill to even find one restaurant to go out to dinner at. And now the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area is got quite the reputation for having a plethora of restaurants. My first profession was a paralegal. I went to paralegal school in Philadelphia and was a paralegal at a large law firm in Atlanta for 3 years. I loved living in Atlanta, but found out what was not my gifting and what I did not want to do, which was sit behind a desk and draft legal documents. I had done some volunteer work in college at a stuttering clinic and did volunteer work at a hearing preschool for hearing impaired in Atlanta. So when I had at age 25, a crisis of what did I want to do with my life, on a whim, I came to a football game in Chapel Hill and applied to the graduate program in speech pathology at UNC. 2 weeks later, somebody dropped out of the program and I started mid-year. I loved my studies there, and particularly when I took neuroanatomy, I was fascinated by the brain behavior correlations. So I did one of my internships at the VA in Durham working with adults and was exposed to quite a few interesting and diverse things there. I continued at Duke to do my clinical fellowship year. And to give you a little bit about my age, I was able to, we attended neurology and neurosurgery ground rounds. And so I went to one where the MRI was being introduced. And I remember thinking that they said they had to have a building to house it. And I thought, who would ever have a machine that you had to build a building around? After my year at Duke, I then moved to Charlotte and worked at Charlotte Rehab, now Carolinas Rehab, and Presbyterian Hospital in acute care. Then I came back to Duke to work under my mentor, Jennifer Horner. At the time, Wake Med was in Raleigh, was opening a rehab hospital. And I applied for the job. And 33 years later, I am still there and love my work as a speech pathologist, working with adults with stroke and head injury. I am now just working in the rehab hospital 1 and 2 days a week. I met my husband, Bob, when I came back to Raleigh, a wonderful husband, Bob, when I came back to Raleigh, and we married when I was 38 years old. And we had our daughter, Julia, a month before I turned 40. Later, the doctors told me she was an absolute miracle. She's not named after me. She's named after my mother. And actually, she is Julia Bryan V, another Southern thing. She's wonderful, married to a wonderful guy, Sam. And I have a 1-year-old grandpuppy named Eloise, who is a short-haired blonde dachshund. I met Mara when I came back to work at Wake Med after Julia was born, and she was doing my dream, which I could never do, but our only Mara, which was to set up a program for individuals with aphasia after they had been discharged, to be able to enable them to engage in doing their passions in life. My father-in-law, who was a brilliant, well-read man, had 2 strokes and never left his house after the strokes, other than maybe for family events, because he didn't have any kind of program like TAP in New Jersey where he lived. I was privileged to be on the TAP board for 7 years. And then at Wake Med, I filled in for some of the TAP groups that were held there when we were still in person. Then after COVID hit, I had to quit my job at Wake Med for a year because of health issues and volunteered with TAP Zoom groups. Mara has challenged me, as you know, she challenges all of us all the time to start a group. So a year and a half ago, I started TAP Zoom into the Bible. Never having met any of these folks in person, it has evolved to be quite a diverse group of folks, diverse in every way, actually from even in age from 26 to 92. And they've become quite an intimate group. And they just talk about their life, their passion and their faith, and we read and study the Bible. We met with the only other Bible study that I knew of in the country at Scale, a program similar to TAP that's associated with Johns Hopkins. The two groups loved it and have continued meeting together, and they have are now working together, and we're training 2 clients from TAP and 2 clients from Scale in Baltimore to facilitate Bible study groups. And they are calling it aphasia-led Bible study and want to introduce it to aphasia centers around the country that otherwise might not have Bible study offered. This has been the most exciting, but the most challenging endeavor in my 35 plus years as a speech pathologist. And all this is due to TAP. I'm excited to see what God will continue to do in this group, for this group, and through this group. I think I'm supposed to be telling you what I do outside my work as a speech pathologist, what I enjoy and what my hobbies are. I'm involved in Bible studies and in prayer groups in church. And I'm involved in a prayer ministry with a ministry called Angel Ministries. It is a worldwide ministry located here in Raleigh. I love the beach, and I'm so excited that the weather's getting warm and can't wait to head there soon. My goal every day is to be doing exercise outside, mainly walking. So I enjoy walking every day. Thank you. And I look forward to hope to get to meet you soon in person.